Purple sprouting broccoli, which is our kind of indigenous broccoli, is incredibly hardy, and it will stand right through the hardest winter. I mean, this plant was cut from one of our fields in January, and it's looking a bit like beaten about by the weather, but it's still fairly healthy. And this is how it grows. Is it will grow one, what we call a primary head, and we go through the fields about once a week or so, and we'll take these primary heads like that, and that's what will be in the boxes mainly in January. And then once you've cut that one, these spears then start developing lower down. So the next week we'll come through and we'll pick the larger ones of these, and that will enable these ones to start developing down the bottom. We carry on picking it for probably maybe 6 weeks, and they're different varieties that come later in the season, and that way we have purple sprouting in the boxes from Christmas right through to the beginning of May. The purple sprouting broccoli has a lot more flavour. I mean, it's a lot more robust. You might say it was bitter, but I think it's a pleasant bitterness, and it has less of that brassicary sort of sulphurous thing about which Calabrese had, which personally I find quite sort of off-putting. Like all green vegetables, purple sprouting is best when it's fresh, but if you keep it in the bottom of your fridge in a plastic bag, that's the best way of keeping it. You should have at least a week. So this is how your purple sprouting will arrive in your box. I mean, we will probably have picked it a couple of days before. And when you come to cook it, the important thing is to try and get it all to be more or less the same size. So I'll often, if it looks like it has been cut, for a day or two, it's best to cut off the stem and just freshen it. And one like that is cooked on its own, or if you wanted to cook it a little bit quicker, you could do a bit like scoring the bottom of a Brussels sprout, just split the bottom open. Okay, and that one I would just cook whole like that. And it's when you get onto the larger ones like this that instead of cooking it whole, it's best just to go around and cut off the sort of mini spears, sometimes with a bit of stalk with them. And that way when you come to boil or steam them, they're all going to cook at about the same rate. Sometimes worth just taking off the bottom of those sorts of stems, and again, rather than throwing it away, I tend to just take the outer bit off, almost sort of peel it, and then you can just quarter it. The best way of cooking purple sprouting broccoli is either to steam it or boil it. I tend to boil it. If you're going to boil it, make sure you have plenty of water and it's at a rolling boil, a bit of salt in there to help it keep its flavour and colour, and boil it for about 5 minutes.